Challenge, break down.
It's Brice and Wendell with the challenge.
Break down.
CBS reality, royalty to be crowned.
Survivor, Love Island,
Amazing Race, and Big Brother.
Survivor, Love Island,
Amazing Race, and Big Brother. It's Brice and Wendell with the challenge.
Break down.
It's Brice and Wendell with the challenge.
Break down.
It's Brice and Wendell with the challenge.
Break down.
Hit the record. I got hot takes too. Okay, Brice has a cup in his hand, so it's going down. Okay,
I got a cup in my hand and it's a lot going down. But even before we get into this podcast with DZ, I want to take a time to just acknowledge some things real quick.
Talk about it. What you got?
One thing that I want to acknowledge and shout out to everyone at the Purple Pants Podcast for listening. But if you are listening, you should probably head your way over to YouTube and type in Wendell Holland and watch this on YouTube, where you can watch this audio podcast on video. But anyway,
Wait, let me add to that.
Here he go.
I think I have about 1,700 subscribers on YouTube.
Shout out.
I would shout out, yo. I'm very happy to have 1,700. I appreciate y'all
and
so much.
Shout out to our loyal one. Shout out to my sis that's talk about the train. Okay. Shout out to Amanda. Amanda, we'll see you in Toronto. But go ahead.
Yes, we will, Amanda. So shout out to all y'all. But I think, Brice, I got a new lease on life. I would like to start really saying some goals. I want to get to 2,000 subscribers.
Yes.
2,000, so like if y'all are listening on the Purple Pants Podcast right now, just head over to the Wendell Holland YouTube page and give me a follow. And I'm trying to get to 2,000. Brice, is that a smart, reasonable goal?
I think that is a very reasonable goal, but I have a question. I have a call to action for you.
Yeah, I will receive that, but also I apologize for interrupting you.
No worries. But before I accept your apology, my call to action is if you get to 2,000, will you respond back in a reasonable time to the people that comment on the YouTube?
You know what? Here's what I'll say. When we drop this video, I'm responding to every comment.
Okay.
And if I hit 2,000, I will go even more hard and respond. Oh, I can't blow the whistle and let me tell you something. I'm kind of streaming consciousness right now.
Okay.
Wenny is above me sleeping right now.
That he's speaking about my godchild that I birthed.
And this is another reason why you need to get me a new podcast studio, Brice, because he's upstairs sleeping right now. I can't be screaming and yelling and reacting. Okay.
Can I ask you a question real quick? When I came over to your house today.
Okay. And he cried when he saw you.
So we're not going to lie on the podcast. Came over. I said, "What you doing?" He said, okay, because he knew. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Before we start this podcast, in my preparation of getting ready for the podcast, I always try to my outfits for the podcast aren't just random. They're always kind of sort of showing support and showing love to other reality people and other people doing things. And I happen to come across this shirt that I am currently wearing, and it says Wendell Wednesday, right? Wow. And I paired it with a Brice and Wendell Present hat. And it made me get a little emotional in the sense that, I love the trajectory that we are on, and I love the fact that it...
That's a new word for the Brictionary. Trajectory. I'm listening. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, I'd like to have the words stricken from the transcript. But no, it really kind of sort of brings me joy when it's like... when your work becomes like what you do and what you love doesn't feel like work, right? And so I feel like we are getting ready to hit the road for our Brice and Wendell Present Tour 45. We're kicking it off in Toronto. We are going to New York, following that, DC, Philadelphia, New Orleans, and ending it in LA. And tickets are available. Click the link in the Brice and Win Present bio. And if when DZ hits 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe he'll add the Brice and Win Present link in his YouTube bio. But it really just makes me think that, like, I'm wearing this shirt that before there was a Brice and Win Present, right? We just were throwing watch parties because we love to watch Survivor, and I was like, I want to like show my support to my bestie that, you know, unfortunately was the first merge boot of Winners at War. But this shirt really gave me good vibes. It really brought me to, like, it reminded me of why we fight, why we argue, why we disagree, why there are a lot of things in which people don't see behind the scenes in what we do that to produce Brice and Win presents on these tours, right? And like wearing the shirt kind of sort of reminded me of that a little bit. And I was like, let me show my brother a little love.
I got mad respect for that, Brice, because, and I appreciate it. And it's a good reminder. We've come a little bit of a way, and we got a long way to go. It's only the beginning. But thank you for wearing that. You know why I thought you were wearing that? And we don't even have to really get into this.
Well, we can get into it. We got a little time today because baby boy wetting his whistle on a Thursday night. Like, I don't have to be up at work tomorrow, but we are here.
I thought, Brice, we were getting healthy, and we weren't really. I thought in preparation for the tour, we were taking care of our temples, and we weren't drinking much, and we were eating healthy, and we were working out so that we could be ready. Brice, I got something to say to you. Brice,
I don't know what happened to Win DZ. I'm not sure what he was saying, but it's like, no.
That's on the JBP when they be like, the JBP, where would I be without the BWP? All right, so the only thing I was about to say, Brice, I thought you were wearing that Wendell shirt because of our conversation earlier when I told you that I don't know if, you know,
when you call me fat.
I'm just saying. Anyway, the shirt looks great on you. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the challenge.
Breakdown. But wait, finish that thought so I can cut you out a little bit.
Brice, I'm not gonna open this Pandora's box too much. But the only thing I was telling you earlier,
Josh opened it today.
Oh, we got a lot of hot takes coming. Okay,
and Spicy Bricey is out today. Spicy, I said it last week, but Spicy Bricey out today.
Spicy Wendeezy is about to have one hot take that is gonna blow your purple socks off, Brice.
Oh.
Anyway, the only thing I'll say is Dad Wendell is really, really, really enjoying the design and build world and that space. I really like those networks. And we were talking earlier, Brice, and you were like, Wendell, you've always dreamt of doing the challenge, da 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 da. And I've gotten a lot of calls, and you know, the timing was wrong, but now I'm second guessing, like, do I really want to do all of that? That's all I'm saying. So that's one hot take. I don't know.
Here's another hot take. When DZ be listening, when he be acting like he don't be listening. But we receive it. But listen, enough about this, because listen, I feel like we could save that for the Brice and Win pod, the BW.
We got a lot to get into, Brice.
We have a lot to get into. But first off the bat, Chris Underwood is back from winning in the challenge, and he is letting the house know that he's back. And also,
RIP to Seb. RIP to Seb. He just beat my dog, Seb.
Seb.
No.
Peace, Seb. Okay. That's what I got. But also, the beginning of this episode for me felt like what is it when I feel like let me choose my
Let
words
it
well.
out.
No, I feel like I felt liberated because seeing Chris come back into this house, and I've been saying and I have said, uh, Chris and we in a relationship.
Y'all are not in a
We
relationship. Y'all
are.
don't
I
know together.
Chris and
Chris
I
doesn't even
and
know you.
Margot and Kate, they my family.
They
And I
don't know
really truly felt today liberated because Chris to his Instagram story
you.
reads, shout out to my sister wife and win for this hilarious recap. Okay. So y'all be thinking I be saying, shout out to my man Corey. I'm in a relationship with Chris. Y'all be thinking I'm lying, but the proof is in the Instagram story.
Brice, who's to say that he was referring to you when referring to his sister wife? Like, he doesn't
So,
say my sister wife, Brice.
okay. So let me ask you this, Wendell.
Yes.
Is there something you would like to share with us?
I'm not his sister wife because he says and when. But I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm the sister wife. Okay.
Um,
So now we know that Chris Underwood is official and has always been a member of the Purple Pants Posse. And I also feel like the title of this episode is Battle of the Zaddies. But Chris comes back excited. He regroups with Survivor Strong. And what's your take on this conversation between Michaela,
you know,
Desi, Michelle, Chris? Like, what are your thoughts?
yes. And I think Cassidy was in that room. So I started thinking about hot take just when I started thinking about this conversation, also thinking about last week when Chris was going for he was like, any woman, any survivor woman, Cassidy, anybody, right? So at that point, he was sending shots anywhere. But at this point, I'm looking at this and I forgot that Cassidy was in this conversation because I'm looking at this thinking, man, this group right here could have been the nucleus to the whole let's vote for Cassidy tonight thing. So that was, hindsight after I saw Cassidy go down there and I saw her whole alliance kind of go against her. But that was one thought about this conversation. The second thought was, yo, Chris, you just went nuclear and anyone could get it last week. Now you got to clean up you won. Congratulations. Now you got to clean up your mess. And that's kind of what he's doing, which I think is good survivor strategy. Whenever something happens, you always try to clean up and talk to people. So I think that's good. But I saw some looks on the women's faces that might have told a different story.
For me, I feel like this is probably the third week that I'm saying this, but Michelle Fitzgerald is the
Cute.
challenge goal. Girl, why is you in this conversation? Because the last time I felt like you was in a room with Chris, it was with Wes and it was with Peaches. And girl, you was like, why you throwing my name out? Now it's like, so happy
You got
back.
something to say?
We gotta figure it out. Like I love, first of all of the girls that are left, I honestly like have an affinity for because I feel like they're amazing, right? And we can get to each and every one of them as we continue to move forward. But as the episode continues and we're in the early stages, what you got something to say? But wait,
I got a piping hot take, but go ahead. I got a hot take. I got a scolding hot take.
Well, I feel like the next thing that I have for you is you'll have an even scolderer.
Go ahead, because you might connect all of my hot takes.
So maybe. So keep that. Okay. So again, if you're listening to the podcast, shout out to you, but you need to head over to YouTube. Wendeezy, please tell me your hot take.
Are you ready for it? Brice.
But on this conversation.
Not too much on Josh.
But first of all, shout out to Josh because Josh we see you, Josh, right here in this moment. Okay, we see the braids is gone. Josh is in a full man bun.
Yep. Biceps busting out.
Biceps busting, abs
Busting.
busting. Also shout out to Wesley. Cause this not Wes in this here. This Wesley. Okay. I'm trying to
Western.
figure out why his forearms is matching his beard, but his chest is matching his face. Wesley looking amazing here. Again, it's like shout out to the Zaddies. Because Josh was a Bryce Isaiah former Zaddy calendar, and
Wow.
Wes is a current former Zaddy calendar. And it's like in this conversation, Josh is coming to Wes trying to figure out like how do we move forward? What's the game plan? Like, let's work together. And I will say this: the challenge gods, the challenge whoever it is that's editing, they had me here because I was like, oh, this is good. Like, oh, like I thought from this edit of Josh and Wesley, I thought it was like more on Josh than Wes.
So, from what I recall of the conversation, Josh is talking to Wes like, "Oh, we're so close to the end now," and Wes is like, "Yo, don't think that way." Like, Josh is like, "Oh, we're so close to the end. I just want to run a final." I think, first of all,
It was Wesley's confessionals for me.
medium
'Cause-
hot take. I think Josh is going to run the final this season. First, that's my first medium hot take. Josh has a lot of relationships. My piping hot take
Oh,
has to do with him, and I'm going to drop that tea a little later. But
okay.
what did Wes call this man, Pinocchio?
He said Pinocchio, Pinocchio. Wes said, Josh sitting here talking to me about the final. Wes said, have you ever? I felt like Wes was you and Josh was me talking about the merge. Like where I'm like, the merge is so important. You got to make the merge. And although you may be the first merge boot of Winners at War,
I've seen a
Wednesday,
couple merges.
Wednesday. However, Brice, do you know what it's like to make the merge feast? To sit like I don't.
You said your nose is growing.
Oh, it's
He called the man Pinocchio. And other way.
oh. I was trying to like
Okay, Pinocchio. So that interaction is unique because I remember back to when Josh sat at a table with Wes however many seasons ago and was like, "This is always going to be a thing. Our rivalry, it just is what it is. Me and you, mano a mano, big dog against big dog." And Wes is
2 seasons later.
but Wes was in his confessional like, "Yo, this is never going to be a thing. We are never going to be beefing. I like you. I want to go to the end with you, actually." Actually, I think he might have said it to Josh's face in that confessional. So fast forward, I think this is like 5 seasons later. Again, Wes is just on some. I don't think Wes is even. I don't think Josh is on his radar.
I don't even like my opinion of the conversation. I don't think that I feel like Wesley was
Weston.
I just feel like Wesley was like, because we know Josh's name. Josh, I'ma start some Ish Martinez. And I felt like Wesley was like, I want to keep the lines of communication open, but I don't feel like in this moment Wesley was like feeling like this interaction or my relationship with Josh is a paramount to my finale. And could it have been potentially a downfall of Wes, right? Like, I don't know. Like, again, because I'm just listening to like Wes's confessionals, and I'm team Wes. I'm Wes down. I'm Josh down as well too. But I just feel like because I try to look at it from a point of like, what could they both have learned?
Okay. May I add something? I think that, and now that you said that, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Wes is like, Man, I'm the biggest target in this house. Nobody wants. It's like when Jordan is in one of the games. Nobody wants to run a final in this house. No one wants to run a final against me. I'm the biggest target in this house. Josh, you tripping on? Oh, I want to make it to full. All eyes are on Wes. They want him out. So Wes is like running his miles. Like, man, yeah, you're tripping that you can't make it to the final. Fool, they're targeting me right now. So
that's why Wes got that hat on.
Right, that's why he got that. And first of all,
So let me ask you
who
this:
is sponsoring them?
Is this Wes or is this Wesley?
This is. I know him as Wes or Wes.
That wasn't the question. The question was: Is this Wes or
right,
in the hat? Is that Wes or is that Wesley?
Right, it's giving Wesley. Okay, fine, it's giving Wesley. Okay, all I'm saying is, who on earth is their sponsor? It looks like a YYZ or something like that. I don't know this
Kia.
brand. It used to be Under Armour.
Oh, because Josh got a new Kia back in the day. The new Kia sign is like that. But
I'm not like that. Let's get into the challenge. Go the distance.
Go the distance. I am here for this challenge where I feel like potentially it's anybody's game, right? Where if you can run, jump, and grab, it's yours. I feel like it's I think so. Like I feel like it's more of in your I personally would say that from someone that has seen this challenge more than once. It looks physical, but honestly, I feel like it's more mental than physical, in my opinion. But
when I look at this, first of all, I'm wondering how high it is because Michaela was very afraid of the height, so it's got to be pretty high. But also, when I look at this, my instant thought is, this is Fessie's challenge to lose. Brice, I don't need.
I mean, I
don't need your narcissist.
I agree. Shout out to JT, because this definitely is JT. This is JT giving me. No, this is a hot take. JT giving me. Just got my commissary yesterday. I'm out on the block. It's a winter day. I got my state issue Scully.
Oh, send me a kite, Brice.
Okay.
So, what if he was on your other favorite show, Love After Lockup?
First of all, JT will already be on my JPay. And you don't even know what a JPay is, but for y'all though,
it's when
y'all
you put money
know that know. And here's another thing, y'all, because we give it spicy. 2 days ago, I literally was like, Wendell, I think that you should watch Love After Lockup. I think that it could be potentially the revamp of me talking about it. And not Wendell put TJ on Love After Lockup. Not JT is on Love After Lockup. I'm not mad.
Brice, what kind of jacket is he wearing?
He's wearing a state-issued jacket.
Okay.
Oh, Carhartt.
Huh?
Carhartt.
You said it right the second time, not the third time.
Carhartt. Okay, Carhartt.
There you go.
Okay, shout out to Carhartt. That's clearly the official sponsor of JT's sentencing. And we are here, and the first heat is Alyssa, Desi, Chanel, Alyssa, and Michelle. And I just want to make this clear. Is that not what did I not just say their name?
Name them again.
Alyssa.
Go ahead.
Desi.
Go ahead.
Chanel.
Go ahead.
Cassidy and Michelle.
Okay, there you go.
I
you
just
said 72 times.
Who'd I say?
You said Alyssa, Desi, Chanel, Alyssa, Michelle. Go ahead.
Whoops.
Yeah,
Uh, I
down.
just want to say this about Chanel, right? Like, I feel like it's been week after week after week that we have seen her talk a good game. However, the performance maybe not matched it. But I also feel like sometimes we are our biggest, like, we're our worst enemies, right? Where we like psych ourselves out because, and again, I'm just speaking facts. I remember meeting Chanel before she was on Survivor. I remember watching
Me too.
Chanel when she was on Survivor. I remember when her season premiered. I remember Chanel after, like, and from the time that I met Chanel from when her season premiered until like Chanel now, like she for sure has gone on a full body transformation. Like where she has most definitely gotten more fit. You can see it from her Instagram. I remember seeing her in person, and I remember I was like, "Girl, what you doing? Like, what's up?" And so I really feel like because sometimes when people talk in their confessionals, I don't be believing what they saying. But when Chanel talking her confessional, right, I be believing what she's saying. Like, girl, we about to kill that. Like, I literally am on my bed, like, ooh, Chanel got it. And
3 seconds later.
3 seconds later, it's like,
Eee.
but I say all that to say is that I really feel like sometimes we're in our heads so much, right? Like, I really feel like, because I feel like, girl, reach your arm all the way out. Like, I feel like it's like you talked yourself up. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm not ragging on her. Like, for me, it's like I feel like I get it. I feel like there have been plenty of times in us speaking of, and personally, we're getting ready in less than 6 days, 4 days when this comes out. We'll be heading to Toronto. We're going to the Toronto morning show, right?
Oh, you wanna go there?
That's where but like
You got all the way out. Go ahead.
that's how I can relate. And so the last time that we had the opportunity to be in Toronto and at the morning show, I was so excited. I kept talking about it. And when DZ, what happened?
So, usually when Brice and I go on any of these shows or shoots or anything, we have a great dynamic and we're funny, and Brice does the Brice thing and I do the Wendell thing, and we're able to work off of each other. On one particular, I don't know if it was because it was a blizzard in Toronto. I don't know if it was because we were in a different country, but my man Brice Indigo Purple Man Isaiah decided to clam up for the first time ever when we get on the morning show in Toronto. He doesn't know English anymore. He don't
Oh
know what
my
to say.
God.
He just looks right at me. Boom.
And I
And I just
said,
gotta
I was like on TV, I literally help. They were like, so tell us about how you have gotten to where you got. And I was like, oh, I got it. And I was like, it's Thursday because tomorrow's Saturday. And all I could think was like, I just looked at Wendell and I was like, help me.
He was like,
And Wendell was like, well.
what Brice is trying to say is we're nearing the weekend, but we're not quite there yet.
And
Yeah.
that's where like I feel like I'm rooting for Chanel because it's like I have seen the physical growth. I know that it's there, and I know that it's like you over psyching yourself. As in me, the last time that we were in Toronto, me over psyching myself. However, when we will be doing our promo tour at Chorus and radio stations and hitting the morning show, the baby boy will show up.
Well, I'd like to hope you will, but if not, let's just have a code word. Just scream out like
Help
jalapeno.
me. Yeah,
Okay.
I
But
think
right.
help me does it enough.
No, we're not gonna. We're gonna have a code word like just say Survivor buffs or something. Brice,
So okay,
wait
well,
a minute, because you were comparing Chanel to you.
okay.
The only thing I'm gonna say about your friend Chanel is that we've seen her talk a good game, but not necessarily deliver on those promises. But hot take, the way this episode ended, Cassidy wins. Cassidy calls some people out, says some funny stuff up there to
And
people.
Chanel said, "I'ma cash that check."
I'm a cash. She said, if there's
That
one check,
choke.
I'm a cash.
And that,
So
listen, I'm leading up to it. And again, I love my sis Cassidy. Like, I love my sis Cassidy and I love my sis Chanel. But don't let the mind psychological of like, oh, I'm gonna run and jump this. I'm gonna do. I'm just saying.
it appears as though, because Cassidy was talking, they panned up to Chanel. She did one of these. And then they had
Wait,
Chanel.
your computer was glitching. Chanel did what?
Cassidy's like, y'all call me down here. I'm coming back. I'ma burn the house down. Chanel was up there like, and then in her confessional,
Oh, not the water.
Chanel was like, if she calls the wrong one out, I'm gonna show her why she's a layup. Hot
Not a
take.
layup.
I'm gonna see. We're gonna see them. We're gonna see them battling.
And I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. And that's not what I'm predicting.
I'm rooting for Cassidy. I'm rooting for Cassidy. I'm rooting for Cassidy.
I'm Team Survivor, so that's who I'm rooting for. So after this first elimination, everyone, I believe, makes it, but Chanel and
Wait a minute.
Michelle.
Michelle jumped so quick, Brian. What was she doing, brother? He didn't say go yet, and Michelle is in the water swimming around.
She said, listen. But listen, Michelle knows what she's doing. She's played enough of these games where it's like, why give all of my energy right now when I can make it to the final? Then we get Michaela and Tori. And before we even talk about how they did, I feel like we have spent a lot of time talking about Michaela and be like, she's Survivor Strong. She's Survivor Strong. Girl, what is you doing? What is you doing? You Survivor Strong. You Survivor Strong this. But I also just want to give my good girl sis, Michaela, some love because this confessional look, the African kente, the sheerness, the head bit. Like I said, well, okay, Michaela.
She smoked it.
She smoked it. I said, okay, Michaela, girl, we see you. And again, I just felt like, in my opinion, this was the MVP of the breakout of the confessional looks for me, because I said, well, now wait a minute.
Throw it up one time for T'Challa. Throw it up one time for T'Challa. Forever.
Okay. Shout out to Michaela. We see you. And so clearly after that, it became Michaela, Desi, Tori, and Cassidy. And at this go round, it seemed like Michaela had a little struggle because my sis Desi said, I'm a jump. My girl Desi got it. Boom.
Desi was looking strong out there. She was flying.
Shout out to my sis Desi. Tori looked good. Cassidy fumbled a little bit. And Michaela hesitated, but ultimately it became Michaela, Desi, and Tori. And moving forward, shout out to my girl Desi. Shout out to my friend. That's my friend. Shout out to my friend. That's my girl Desi. And yeah, I'm Survivor Strong. Sorry, Tori.
Desi's still in the air.
She's still in the air. How Tori get down that low? Then it became queen against queen, and I don't support that type of violence, and so I am just rooting for,
Go ahead, Eastern.
honestly, everybody black. So whoever went, like that's where I'm at with it, right? And so it became apparent through the edit, and again, them spending so much time on Michaela, not like hesitating and then still making it. Ultimately, Michaela won, which was
This
like
is
great.
this is an example of where she didn't allow herself to psych herself out despite that fear. Yeah, shout out to Michaela for that one. Shout out to Desi for all that she did in it, but she lost to Michaela.
Why you say it like that? Like,
Because that's
okay.
your girl.
Well, I mean, Tori lost to Michaela as well.
That's true.
As well did Chanel, as
Oh,
well did a lot. But anyway, now that we got that out the way,
you better
let's
not. You better
get
not. You better
ready to
not. You better not.
rumble.
And I hope you didn't put yourself. Okay.
I didn't do that. Okay. Now I'm just saying. I'm just,
Oh my God.
I don't know who did these editings of these photos, but okay. Moisten my britches if
Oh
you
my
like.
God.
We have Tyler. We got Joshua. We got Peaches. We got shout out to my man
He don't like
Corey.
you.
We got Fessy and Fessy. And they all succeed to the next round. Then we've got Zaddy versus Zaddy. And
Indeed.
child, and first of all, I love both these Zaddies. I love Wes, and I love Wesley, and I love Chris, and I love Underwood. But I feel like, if I'm just saying, I feel like
Keep it cute.
I feel like this, I feel like it was
Become?
Chanel. I feel like this episode was Chanel versus Chris Underwood.
Dang.
Because Wesley was like, "What do you mean? I'm gonna kill it. What's happening here?" And I was like, and again, because Wes got them thick thighs, they save lives. I was, and I was like, Wes,
What happened?
I don't know. They I don't know. Something happened with I don't know. But Wesley bloop into the water, and Chris Underwood continued. Then we got Tyler, we got Joshua. I'ma start some Martinez. We had Peaches. We had shout out to my man. Thank you to my man. And we had Fessel. And
while you drag this along, let me go ahead and respond to some emails.
From there, everybody dropped out. Then it was bum 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 bum. Okay, it came to the main event, the Challenge Royale.
I'm listening.
Okay, boom, boom, boom. Johnny Peaches Bananas versus Fessel. And I'm not sure who won, but I feel like, because I had to watch this over and over again because everything was in slow motion. And I feel like somebody had an unfair advantage, right?
Oh, really?
I absolutely, because I rewatched but Peaches, aka Bananas Jump, and I rewatched Fessel Jump. And I said, oh, that's not fair. Like, there absolutely was an unfair advantage. And if you are listening on the podcast, I feel like you should make sure that you are tuned into the Wendell Holland YouTube. No, I'm not. No, I fell out what, okay? I fell out what Fessel was jumping for.
You don't need to go on the YouTube. This idiot Brice put his face on one of those stupid sticks, and Fessy is jumping for Bryce's face.
Fessel, if I'm your lucky charm, just say that. Like, that's all you gotta say. And again, I feel like it's Battle of the Zaddies. Fessel is currently in the Bryce Isaiah 2023 Zaddy calendar.
Is he?
Like, he is. And I mean,
Oh,
he got one of the best photos if you ask
okay.
me.
Enough.
But
Enough.
listen, Fessel, that's all you had to say. Fessel. That's all you
Leave
had to
him
say,
alone.
Fessel.
Leave
Uh,
him alone.
but also I feel like again, shout out to Fessel and shout out to Michaela for winning. But one thing that we forgot to tell everyone is that JT, no, that wasn't JT. This was TJ. TJ made us aware it's a double elimination.
Mm.
It's a double elimination.
Mm-hmm.
And so after Fessel and Michaela win, Michaela gets back. She's talking with Desi and Chanel. And Michaela is letting us know that, like, her person that she went out is Tori. And Desi
Mm-hmm.
says, skirt.
Her?
Desi like, now wait a minute, girl. Do you not remember when you was eating your plate of food that it was me, you was Chanel talking with Tori and Bananas, and we made a ceasefire. And Desi is also like, I love the humble brag that my good sis Desi is talking, because she like, well, if y'all get out Tori, who really is the next threat, right? And again, it's like, in my opinion, from watching the show, because I've never played, it's like managing your threat level. And Tori, the link up between Tori, Bananas, and Chanel, Desi, and Michaela is amazing, because it's like Desi has the unsung story with Enzo, and she has gone in the gauntlet, come out. Now, first of all, shout out to the challenge, the gauntlet. Like, how many of y'all remember the gauntlet days?
You don't
Anyway,
call it.
she's gone into the gauntlet, come out, done her time, and kind of like lowering her threat level. And it's like, here it is. Now it's like, no, sis, we Survivor strong, but like, here you are wanting to offer up Tori, and I'm not sure what that does for my threat level. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it raises my threat level.
Yeah. It puts the spotlight on her, and Tori's a good meat shield for her.
Yeah, and for me, it's like, Michaela is so consistent. Michaela is Survivor strong, even when the survivors are no longer Survivor strong. We had Michaela talking with Chris earlier.
Yeah.
Talking about, like, and now she's like talking with Desi and Chanel, where it's like, we need to get out Tori. Survivor strong. And they like, I don't know if we should. Again, we get to see Fessel and Michaela go to their deliberations of the, I forget, what do we call this? The nominations. And here's the thing. You know I love Fessel. I felt
Is this gonna
like
be another hot take?
this is a great hot take, in my opinion. I was like, where the hell has this Fessel been all season?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, you feel different.
Yeah, I feel different. I feel like Michaela did a great job in getting a lot of information out of your mans.
See, I feel like, well, maybe that is true. However, I felt like, as a viewer, it's like I got to hear the information from Fessel that I wanted to hear. Like, I felt like he's like, well, there's Tyler, there's Alyssa, here I'm working with this, I'm working with that. Like, what? So in my opinion, like, yes, he gave a lot of information to Michaela, but in my opinion, as a viewer, like, well, we see Michaela with her Survivor Strong alliance, that she is so strong, and I felt like I felt like Fessel as a whole was like, we together. Let's look at how we can mitigate coming out of this with the lowest threat level ever. And I felt like listening to Fessel communicate with Michaela, I was like, where the F has this Fessel been the whole season?
Okay. May I share my side of this? I think, may I?
Shall I proceed?
Yes, indeed. Okay. I think that shout out to Fest for keeping his mouth shut all season and every time he's on these shows. Cause that's a good like, bruh, you're the biggest and the strongest out there,
Mm.
and
Huh?
you snuggle with every woman on the show. Like, yo, just chill in the cut. And I like that he's been doing that. Granted, that's not necessarily great TV if he's just not saying nothing, but I respect the fact that he's not saying anything. Michaela sits him, Brice, take this stupid icon off the screen. You're trying to distract me.
Go
Fine.
ahead.
Michaela sits him down for 1 second and he spills all of his allies, bro. Nah, I can't get on board with that. I can't get on board with that.
I don't like, I feel like he didn't spill anything which is not already common knowledge. Like, I feel like we got to actually see Fessel, like, because it wasn't like this with Tori, right? Last week he went in with Tori knowing like what her non-negotiable words, and like, and I felt like the Fessel that we saw today, I was like, I wish that like that's the Fessel that shows up from the jump. Like, I really like, and again, also like, can we talk about how Tori and Fessel in these individual immunity challenges? I keep saying it like a survivor, but they're the only two. Like, and if I'm a betting lady, I hope Fessel and Tori, like, I hope that they run the challenge together. Although I'm Survivor Strong.
Okay. Understood. All right.
But I just like, no, I really feel like the Fessel that we got to see today,
You
I
liked it
mean,
because you get to see your man's talking a little
no,
more.
but I mean,
Finally, your man's
you want a hot take, or you
Corey
want a
didn't
hot
get no
take?
screen
Because I
time.
got a hot take. Because
Drop
I
that hot
just
take.
felt,
I still have a piping hot take.
because my hot take was like, maybe, him collaborating with a black female is like, I don't know, I just felt like this Fessel and this information that he revealed to us in this information, I was like, that's the Fessel that I know. And again,
You don't know him.
pause this whole season. Like, I be hating the hate that Fessel gets a lot. Like, right, I feel like I get it, but for me, knowing Fessel on a real level and knowing how, like, you know what I mean? Like he's a real person. He's like I love me a Fessel, and I feel like I just felt like this deliberation with Michaela and himself was like the realest glimpse of a Fessel that I have saw on a show that I have watched in its entirety.
Okay. Hot take.
That's all.
Brice, my hot take is out of thin air, but it's not like I as in it's not relating to either of them, but I need to drop it.
Oh,
I need to drop this piping hot take. Let
okay.
me know in the comments if I'm wrong for this.
You mean the comments that you won't probably respond to?
I'll respond to every one of them if
Because
it's
I'll
on this.
respond to them.
Is Michelle Fitzgerald
Mm.
Josh Martinez? Look at their games. Look at how they're viewed. Look at how they play. Look at the socialness. Come back. This is a piping hot take. Brice, come back. Is Michelle Fitzgerald Josh Martinez in this game? They're very Brice, get your behind back on the screen. Brice, I think I'm on to something here. Michelle, has she made it to one of these finals yet? I'll answer for myself since Brice left me alone. No, she hasn't. Josh, has he made it to one of these finals yet? No, he hasn't. Let's think about their games. Heavy on the social, heavy on the. If you don't take this photo of Josh off of the screen, let's think about their games. Heavy on the social, heavy on the politicking, heavy on the cross show allies.
Heavy on the back again and again and again and again.
Heavy on the
Because
who's scared of them.
I believe the challenge season 38 has dropped the promo, right? Or the new
Yeah,
season of the challenge.
yeah. Michelle's on that one.
Shout out to Michelle. Okay, listen, they
Right.
doing something right.
What I'm saying is she just the female version of him?
I have no comment.
Why? You can't compare their game. You know what? Because Brice is trying to leave me on this is a piping hot take, and I think I'm on to something here. Please let me know in the comments if y'all see what I'm saying.
What
Nope,
I
right?
will say is Josh is always going to start some ish. And from what I have seen of Michelle, she ain't scared or running from anything. So, I mean, I could see your correlation.
I
But
just dropped the hottest take of the season, and you know what? Fine. This is the hill I'm gonna die on. And Brice, guys, y'all better support me in these comments for real, because I think I'm on.
After Fessel and Michaela nominate Chris and Alyssa, I have another hot take that comes up. For me, it's like just when I thought not when DC drop it down. Just when I thought I couldn't love Tyler anymore. The way that Tyler was in that room talking to Alyssa with the door closed, like, you okay? You want me to tell everybody this room is closed off? I was like, okay, I have a lot of respect for the Tyler that is, and I feel like the one thing that I don't love the most about Tyler is that like I feel like I know the majority of him through I feel like last season he wasn't on the season, but his girlfriend, fiance, like that's how we heard of him. And I feel like the most emotion that has been invoked in me through him has been through Alyssa this season. But I really do ultimately think that Tyler is an amazing dude. And it seems like, not why does what DC have his behind in the camera?
Sorry, I was just over there.
And then after that, another I think interesting moment was it seemed that Chris was in the confessional room and who came to drop the news to him was Michelle and Cassidy. They were telling him that his name got dropped, but I would like it made to be clear that Chris was in the confessional room and he was
He
on
wasn't talking to you.
a FaceTime with me, Kate, and Margot. I was there.
No.
But as much as I am a Chris Underwood supporter, we got to see a montage of Chris with his back against the wall and he going through a lot of things. But then I just got a little confused because I was like, now, Chris,
Who is this?
who is that?
Yo, what was Chris alive in the 1970s?
Is Richard Simmons your father? Okay. And then is like, who hold the football like that?
He
Okay.
looked like Steve-O.
Now, okay. Now that's the Underwood that got me.
Oh
But
my gosh.
what stance is that?
Because he got the one leg up. Brice.
Is that defense or offense?
Brice, the one leg up. He got your pose.
Is he on defense or is he on offense? Did he just catch the ball or is he about to punt the ball?
He's twinkle toes.
Like, I'm confused. And I'm also confused as to, like, the photographer was like, I'm going to get up high. You
He's
hold
on
the
the bleachers.
ball and you do a spinning X surprise. Like,
He said, "Give me 3/4 facing that way and look back at it."
and also, we gonna cut your Adidas sweatpants mid-length. I'm just confused about it all.
He's
But
twinkle toes.
I'm just confused as like to Chris. Could you tell us what the photographer's direction was
Jesus.
here?
Yeah, Chris, let us know, brother. We love you. You know we love you, but you're giving Steve-O
He does look like
offense,
Steve.
defense, confused look, like you just got caught doing something. Are you stealing the football?
It's giving jackass circa 2023. Like, where is Johnny what's his name?
Knoxville.
Knoxville. Where is Bam Margera?
Jeez.
Uh
Hey, Steve-O.
so we got that montage of Chris. We also get none other than Josh. I'ma start some Ish Martinez with
Mhm.
who did you just say? With his twin Michelle talking to Chris and talking about what is Chris's best options. And at this point, I feel like the writing was on the wall where, this is where we got to hear that Josh is considering Wes.
Yes. So this is where, and Josh is a personal friend of both of ours, but this is where Josh is a snake.
Is he?
Is he? It sounds like he was cutting all kinds of deals with Wes all season and probably before the season. And now he's cutting his boy and he's saying, as soon as the opportunity presents itself, because Chris is like, yo, I'm taking a big swing. I want to break up this challenge thing. Wes
But
Banana, go
I just
ahead.
also feel like this is the same Chris that last episode was saying any or everything to anybody, right? Like, so it's like it's interesting to see this trio. And I'm not necessarily mad at a Josh because again his rationale this whole time is that like who can beat Wes in the challenge?
So if that's your thought process, you've been lying to Wes all season.
So if this is Survivor and Josh is Jesse and Wes is Cody, do you have the same vernacular for Josh? Because that's the
Yeah,
defining moment
yeah,
for Jesse that people are like, "Oh my god." And
yeah.
essentially I feel like this is similar to Josh.
No. First of all, that's not his number one. Fess is his number one. Second of all,
Is Vessel?
you saw what that did to Jesse. Bye-bye. He was gone. Cody wanted to
Okay.
go to the end with Jesse. Now,
Okay.
now, in Wes's case, Wes would love to go to the end with Josh.
So here's also where the editing kind of like annoyed me a little bit was like when we got to see this Tyler and Alyssa. Cause I'm like, well, tell me Alyssa going home without telling me Alyssa go home. Like, like I felt like this is a little weird.
Well, she's getting her moments, and they've
No,
given people they've given people moments and not sent them home. Like they gave Underwood a moment last week. He won
no,
and
they
won.
gave him a lot of moments with his family.
Brice. That's not even good Photoshop, bro. Like
Real life isn't Real life isn't Photoshop.
No.
Real life happens when it happens. I
So
happen
so
to
you
be doing
sitting on
something.
Kate's
I
shoulder,
happen to be coming I happen to be coming from somewhere.
and you just stopped by, and you became a little person and sat on her shoulder? Fair enough. Let's continue on. It's getting late. I got basketball in 5 hours.
Anyway, we get to the elimination, and not only okay, TJ has been nowhere here this episode. Okay, at the elimination, we got brother Jakar Abdul Tumar.
Right? You should have put bean pies in his hands.
Salam alaikum. That's how JT was coming. Okay. JT is definitely from Philly here with this, because this is definitely a Philly look here. And we get to the elimination, and the hopper is hopping. We get to see Wes got 3 votes. Wes is curious to know who the 3 votes came from. Tyler got 1 million. Peaches got 2.
Yes.
Tori got 2. Michelle got 1. Cassidy got them all.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't want y'all to see that one just quick. So I feel like we got to see the challenge. I forget what the challenge was. The challenge was stick 'em, get 'em. Hold on, wait. Gotta look at my I have to look at my it's called Rip Me Out the Plastic. I've been acting brand new. Okay. The challenge is ripped off. They go around this circular motion. Do I have a photo? I think I do, but I think maybe because the night got a little late, maybe my photo isn't there. But they had to, there's a circular obstacle, and somebody has 20 patches on them. They're stringed up, and one person is on, one person is off. When you're on, you got to try to rip the patches off. When you're off, you got to avoid the situation. And I just couldn't help but to think that if in a dream world, if I were to ever to be on the challenge,
Here he goes.
and if I ever had to go somewhere,
Here he
I'll
goes.
be off and Corey could be on. Okay. Rip whatever it is that you need to rip off. Also, shout out to the challenge Instagram for blessing us with some Corey content of him shirtless with his braids. Now, as much as I love Corey, and if you are watching the challenge page online and you can see this video, the only thing that I would have wanted my man to have had was just a little fresh lineup at the front. Looked like he had some fresh braids, but it looked like, that front hair was sticking up just a little bit. They just need a clean little, just cut it off. But it's all right, because I love it, Corey. You like it, I love it. Okay. And
Yeah,
if you
some
want to,
bangs, Bryce.
if he want to play Rip Me Off, Rip Me
Bryce.
Out the Plastic,
No.
I've been acting
No.
ready.
No.
And
Photo down. Okay.
we have the first elimination where it is Cassidy versus Alyssa. And spoiler alert, my girl Cassidy said, I ain't playing with y'all girls. The Strong Alliance want to come for me, but again and again, and I came back. Now, when DC, I felt like you were recently in Austin and got to watch an episode with Cassidy.
Yes, last week.
Tell us more.
I watched last week's with her. She made it. She didn't get hopped last week. So although she was in the sand, she went up and had a comfortable seat as a spectator watching Seb, the one and only mermaid man himself, against Chris Underwood. Now,
And you know who Britney Spears is, right?
now who's that?
And you know who NSYNC is?
No, who's that?
Bye, bye, bye.
Don't do that.
Okay. So Cassidy, you got to watch it with Cassidy, and I feel like I saw a photo with you and Owen. Again, another Zaddy. Battle of the Zaddies this episode.
The only thing I have to say about Cassidy, who's a challenge beast, I'm rooting for her to win this season, is that she got called down and Wes got called down. And I'm like, the poetic justice here. Those two, her and Wes, have been battling for a long time. So and for them both to go down there, I'm like, man, if they both go home on the same night, on the same flight, that would be something.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Then
shout out to Cassidy. You are a beast. Go win this whole thing. And fast forward to the heavyweight bout.
Okay, now mind you, this had the butchers in a bunch. Zaddy versus Zaddy. Not my husband out there. And I didn't, at this moment in time, I didn't tell Chris that Wes was going to be a feature on the upcoming Zaddy, and not Wes knowing that he's a Zaddy featuring on the upcoming Zaddy, and that's what he throwing in Chris's face. I didn't know that.
That could be it.
Not them fighting.
They fighting over you?
I mean, I was just like, oh my God. And so, yeah, this was a hard one to watch, because when Chris was off and Wesley was on, Wesley was out there. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, yes. Then when Wesley was on and Chris was off, I felt like, what the heck is Wesley doing? Wesley never even touched the circle. Wesley was...
He was hitting that. You!
Soldier boy, get up.
Because that soldier boy, that Superman, hold up, you.
I was like, how the hell is Wesley just going around and not even touching it? I was like, what is going on? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was preparing for the worst this episode. I said, Chris is going home.
You know what Wes said? Man, I got that swag. My head that's in my bag. You know I'm popping tags. And man, I got that swag. And sir, that was that and I'm swagging.
I'm swagging. And ultimately, through the heavyweight championship, Chris removes 10 patches out of 10 patches. But I also think that it is important to note that Wesley removes 9 out of 10 patches, which is ultimately super crazy and amazing. And Wesley is a beast. Wesley don't play. Wesley did his thing. And it like kind of broke my heart a little bit, because again, I feel like on and off of this season, we have seen Wesley kind of like hint at things. In a couple of episodes, we reported where Wes took to his Instagram, and shout out to his wife, Amanda, where Wes said that like he felt like it's time for him to step away. And even after he lost to Chris this week, he basically said that like this is probably his last go round at the challenge, and that breaks my heart. However, what doesn't break my heart, what inspires my heart, which tells me that there is no limit to the sky, and create the things that inspire you. Recently, to Wes's Instagram, he just promoted that his block series that Wendeezy has had an opportunity to be a part of, his entrepreneurship challenge that he has filmed on YouTube and has been filming it. Baby, Wes said, I'm gonna retire from the challenge, but hello, Amazon Prime. And Wes just revealed to us today that he has struck a deal with Amazon Prime that's where The Block will be coming to. So if that is a retirement party, I'd like to sign up to. You take it over. But again, that's like huge shout outs and congratulations to Wes because that's a major, major deal.
Wes, and so yeah, I helped out with The Blocks 2 seasons, season 8 and season 7. And he has, I think they just filmed season 10.
Why wouldn't you say season 7 and 8?
Brice,
Okay.
relax yourself.
Okay.
All I'm saying is when I went out to season 7, I was so impressed with this production, from the knowledge that he bestows on so many entrepreneurs and startups to the amount. I think there were 80 startups in this competition, to the size of the production team filming this awesome show. And I was just like, why does Wes ever go to the challenge? He has this incredible show that he's built. He teaches so many entrepreneurs how to elevate their businesses, and he invests in the ones that seem most investable. And the man has a pot of gold sitting in front of him. So I always wonder, I'm like, why does Wes even go the challenge when he has so much going for him back home? And I would drive to the where I'd stay at his house, and we drive together to where they'd have the blocks where they film. And I'd talk about his vision with him and stuff, and he'd tell me the things that he has in order, and the production teams whose eyes are on him and who's gonna do what. And to see him ink a deal with Amazon Prime is so motivating. Like, he posted that today, probably on the day he knew he was going home. And I'm like, see, this man has such bigger things, and that's not even the biggest thing in his life. Amanda is pregnant, and I want to say they might have, like, because I talked to Wes a few weeks ago, and he said we're doing 3 weeks, so he might have a baby either yesterday, today, tomorrow. They might already have a baby. So Wes has so much going for him, and him and Amanda are bringing this beautiful life into the world. So I can understand Wes retiring from the challenge, but it's crazy to see one of the best ever retire. 2, I think he's gonna get that itch and come back at some point. But 3, my goodness, he has so much to be proud of and to go home to, that it's just like, respect, brother. Go home to that big mansion in Kansas City. Be with your beautiful wife Amanda and raise your little baby, and just kill it in life, brother. Respect. Nothing but respect.
Much. And I feel like I might have a different take on. I agree with everything and emphasize everything that you said, but I also feel like there is something empowering about him being able to say that I'm retiring. Sometimes it's like we work a job that, like, we feel like we can't get up, we can't give up because we've got a hold on it. And it's like we have a side passion. And it's like, I feel like Wes has hacked the code where he has hung up that 9 to 5 to the point where it's like his side passion is now his hustle. And that's the way that I kind of sort of looked at it. And I was extremely like motivated and inspired by him for all of this. I'm sad to see him go, but I've been following him since Real World Austin, and would love to see him back. But again, sending much congratulations to him, and little exclusive on the Wendeezy Holla YouTube page. Wes is the official Brice Isaiah Mr. November of 2024, and we're just
Oh,
so
oh,
blessed to
you don't
have
usually show.
Wesley. I don't really show, but I really feel again, he keeps saying retiring, and it's like, for me, that resonates a lot with me because we've had meetings, and it's like I have a full-time job and I've got a lot of other different things, and it's like you work until your passion, what's the motto? I don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you work, you hustle your full-time job until it's like your passion can become until your passion project can become a full-time job. And just seeing Wes really was just like, oh, okay. Took me to The Color Purple. God is trying to tell you something. God is trying to tell you something. You don't know The Color Purple like that, but I'm sure somebody will know.
Listen here.
You said silly. But again, normally that's how the challenge ends. We see the people that go home, and then that's it. But baby, okay. And then Josh said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sad to see you
Wes,
go.
run it back. Wes hugs Bananas. I just don't know. I just don't know who did it. That's crazy. Bananas like, yeah, I don't know. Josh is over there, lips already quivering, bruh. Wes is like, I don't know who did. Was it you? Josh is like, I'm so sorry. Josh was like, I'm so sorry.
But again, friend point, maybe not the best thing but from a game point, I'm mad.
From a gamesmanship perspective, if you know homeboy is about to retire, okay, because he's not gonna come back and get your behind, right? Okay, cool, sure. And also, no, you don't want to run that final against Wes, Josh. You don't. But it could have been your one ball that was the ball that hopped out, actually. So you could have been the reason why he's down there. Because keep in mind, Tyler had numerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but man, oh man, that's a tough pill to swallow. But again, if we look at it, I don't know how serious Wes took Josh anyway. He called him Pinocchio, da da da.
But Josh has got into shape. And again, a lot of people see Josh for the old Josh and not the Josh that we see today. That's all I'm going to say. But also, that wasn't it. Cassidy was popping off. Cassidy was like, I know this survivor. Cassidy said,
she said, my whole alliance voted me down here.
Chanel said, not too much.
Chanel said, Desi said something. What she said? Cassidy always got some words. She said that under her breath. That I had to rewind that. Cassidy always got some words. Chanel goes in her confessional. If you want to call me out, I'm going to show you why you're a layup.
And Michelle had the classic line of all. I'm glad that she feels like the strong survivor women are coming at her. Cause I'm not a strong survivor woman. Like, I'm sorry. I just live for Michelle Fitzgerald.
Is she not Josh Martinez?
I live. And I mean, maybe because I love Josh. I'm going to start some Ish Martinez. And I love Michelle. I ain't in it, Fitzgerald. And so the challenge is heating up. It is only a couple more episodes until the finale, and we will see how it ends. But you can guarantee Brice and Wendell will keep you covered along with we got Survivor News coming back. So listen, we got a whole bunch of things in store for you. And this has been your Survivor prelude of the Challenge USA Season 2, Episode 10, the breakdown. But also just want to remind you that the Brice and Wendell Tour 45, we back. Y'all know that we back. Came back to the city. The BWP team is back. We live, homie. Good vibes only.
Keep your eyes open.
The vibe spoken. Tickets are available. We will be in Toronto this week. Next week, we will be in New York. We'll be in Washington, D.C. We'll be in New Orleans. We'll be in Philadelphia. And we are ending this tour off in L.A. If you were in Brooklyn last year, you know how the finales go. And you definitely do not want to miss this. And yeah, we'll be back next week covering the challenge.
Takedown.
It's Brice and Wendell with the challenge breakdown. It's Brice and Wendell with the challenge breakdown.